Trinity College is a constituent college of the University of Cambridge in England, with around 600 undergraduates, 300 graduates, and over 180 fellows. It is the largest college in either of the Oxbridge universities. By student numbers, it is second to Homerton College, Cambridge. Members of Trinity have won 32 Nobel Prizes out of the 91 won by members of Cambridge University, the highest number of any college. 5 Fields Medals in mathematics were won by members of the college and 1 Abel Prize was won. Trinity alumni include 6 British Prime Ministers, physicists Isaac Newton, James Clerk Maxwell, Ernest Rutherford and Niels Bohr, the poet Lord Byron, philosophers Ludwig Wittgenstein and Bertrand Russell, and Soviet spies Kim Philby, Guy Burgess, and Anthony Blunt. 2 members of the British royal family have studied at Trinity and been awarded degrees as a result. Prince William of Gloucester and Edinburgh, who gained an MA in 1790, and Prince Charles, who was awarded a lower second-class bar in 1970. Other British royal family members have studied there without obtaining degrees, including King Edward VII, King George VI, and Prince Henry, Duke of Gloucester. Trinity has many college societies, including the Trinity Mathematical Society, which is the oldest mathematical university society in the United Kingdom, and the first and third Trinity Boat Club, its rowing club, which gives its name to the college's May Ball. Along with Christ's, Jesus, King's and St. John's colleges, it has also provided several of the well-known members of the Apostles, an intellectual secret society. In 1848, Trinity hosted the meeting at which Cambridge undergraduates representing private schools such as Westminster drew up the first formal rules of football, known as the Cambridge Rules. Trinity's sister college in Oxford is Christ Church. Like that college, Trinity has been linked with Westminster School since the school's refoundation in 1560, and its master is an ex officio governor of the school. History. Foundation. The college was founded by Henry VIII in 1546, from the merger of 2 existing colleges, Michael House and King's Hall. At the time, Henry had been seizing church lands from abbeys and monasteries. The universities of Oxford and Cambridge, being both religious institutions and quite rich, expected to be next in line. The king duly passed an Act of Parliament that allowed him to suppress any college he wished. The universities used their contacts to plead with his 6th wife, Catherine Parr. The Queen persuaded her husband not to close them down, but to create a new college. The king did not want to use royal funds, so he instead combined 2 colleges and 7 hostels, Gregory's, Obing's, Catherine's, Garrett, Margaret's, and Tyler's, to form Trinity. Neville's expansion. Contrary to popular belief, the monastic lands granted by Henry VIII were not on their own sufficient to ensure Trinity's eventual rise. In terms of architecture and royal association, it was not until the mastership of Thomas Neville that Trinity assumed both its spaciousness and its courtly association with the governing class that distinguished it until the Civil War. In its infancy, Trinity had owed a great deal to its neighbouring College of St. John's. In the exaggerated words of Roger Ascham, Trinity was little more than a colonia deducta. Its first 4 masters were educated at St. John's, and it took until around 1575 for the 2 colleges' application numbers to draw even, a position in which they have remained since the Civil War. In terms of wealth, Trinity's current fortunes belie prior fluctuations. Neville's building campaign drove the college into debt from which it only surfaced in the 1640s. And the mastership of Richard Bentley adversely affected applications and finances. Most of the Trinity's major buildings date from the 16th and 17th centuries. Thomas Neville, who became Master of Trinity in 1593, rebuilt and redesigned much of the college. This work included the enlargement and completion of Great Court, and the construction of Neville's Court between Great Court and the River Cam. Neville's Court was completed in the late 17th century when the Wren Library, designed by Sir Christopher Wren, was built. Modern day in the 20th century, Trinity College, St. John's College and King's College were, for decades, the main recruiting grounds for the Cambridge Apostles, an elite, intellectual secret society. In 2011, the John Templeton Foundation awarded Trinity College's master, the astrophysicist Martin Rees, its controversial £1 million Templeton Prize, for affirming life's spiritual dimension. Since graduating from Trinity, HRH the Prince of Wales has retained a private apartment in usufruct at the back of the college. The apartment is maintained for private and informal visits. On a recent visit, his sons William and Harry both visited during their motorcycle tour of the UK. Trinity is the richest Oxbridge college, with a landholding alone worth £800 million. Trinity is sometimes suggested to be the second, third or fourth wealthiest landowner in the UK, after the Crown Estate, the National Trust and the Church of England. In 2005, Trinity's annual rental income from its properties was reported to be in excess of £20 million. Trinity owns 3,400 acres housing facilities at the port of Felixstowe, Britain's busiest container port, the Cambridge Science Park, the O2 Arena in London, a 50% stake in a portfolio of Tesco supermarket stores, worth £440 million. Legends: Lord Byron purportedly kept a pet bear whilst living in the college. A second legend is that it is possible to walk from Cambridge to Oxford on land solely owned by Trinity. Several varieties of this legend exist. Others refer to the combined land of Trinity College, Cambridge and Trinity College, Oxford, of Trinity College, Cambridge and Christ Church, Oxford, or St. John's College, Oxford and St. John's College, Cambridge. All are almost certainly false. Trinity is often cited as the inventor of an English, less sweet, version of crème brûlée, known as Trinity burnt cream, although the college chefs have sometimes been known to refer to it as Trinity crème brûlée. The burnt cream, first introduced at Trinity High Table in 1879, in fact differs quite markedly from French recipes, the earliest of which is from 1691. Trinity in Camberwell. Trinity College has a long-standing relationship with the parish of St George's, Camberwell, in South London. Students from the college have helped to run holiday schemes for children from the parish since 1966. The relationship was formalised in 1979 with the establishment of Trinity in Camberwell as a registered charity which exists to provide, promote, assist and encourage the advancement of education and relief of need and other charitable objects for the benefit of the community in the parish of St George's, Camberwell, and the neighbourhood thereof, buildings and grounds. Great Gate. The Great Gate is the main entrance to the college, leading to the Great Court. A statue of the college founder, Henry VIII, stands in a niche above the doorway. In his hand he holds a table leg instead of the original sword, and myths abound as to how this which was carried out and by whom. In 1704, the university's first astronomical observatory was built on top of the gatehouse. Beneath the founder's statue are the coats of arms of Edward III, the founder of King's Hall, and those of his 5 sons who survived to maturity, as well as William of Hatfield, whose shield is blank as he died as an infant, before being granted arms. Great Court. Great Court was the brainchild of Thomas Neville, who demolished several existing buildings on this site, including almost the entirety of the former College of Michael House. The sole remaining building of Michael House was replaced by the then current kitchens in 1770 to 1775. The Master's Lodge is the official residence of the sovereign when in Cambridge. King's Hostel is located to the north of Great Court, behind the Clock Tower. This is the sole remaining building from King's Hall. Bishop's Hostel, a detached building to the southwest of Great Court, and named after John Hackett, Bishop of Lichfield and Coventry. Additional buildings were built in 1878 by Arthur Blomfield. Neville's Court. Neville's Court is located between Great Court and the river. This court was created by a bequest by the college's master, Thomas Neville, originally 2/3 of its current length and without the Wren Library. The appearance of the upper floor was remodeled slightly 2 centuries later. Cloisters run around the court, providing sheltered walkways from the rear of Great Hall to the College Library and Reading Room, as well as the Wren Library and New Court. Wren Library is located at the west end of Neville's Court. The Wren is one of Cambridge's most famous and well-endowed libraries. Among its notable possessions are 2 of Shakespeare's first folios, a 14th-century manuscript of the Vision of Piers Plowman, and letters written by Sir Isaac Newton. The Edwine Psalter belongs to Trinity but is kept by Cambridge University Library. Below the building are the pleasant Wren Library cloisters, where students may enjoy a fine view of the Great Hall in front of them, and the river and backs directly behind. New Court. New Court is located to the south of Neville's Court, and built in Tudor Gothic style. This court is notable for the large tree in the centre. A myth is sometimes circulated that this was the tree from which the apple dropped onto Isaac Newton. In fact, Newton was at Woolsthorpe when he deduced his theory of gravity, and the tree is a chestnut tree. Many other new courts in the colleges were built at this time to accommodate the new influx of students. Other courts. Fuels Court is located across the street from Great Court, and was entirely paid for by William Hewell, the master of the college from 1841 until his death in 1866. The North Range was later remodeled by W.D. Carew. Angel Court is located between Great Court and Trinity Street, and is used along with the Wolfson Building for accommodating first-year students. The Wolfson Building is located to the south of Fuels Court, on top of a podium above shops. This building resembles a brick-clad ziggurat, and is used exclusively for first-year accommodation. Having been renovated during the academic year 2005-06, rooms are now almost all en suite. Blue Boar Court is located to the south of the Wolfson Building, on top of podium, a floor up from ground level, and including the upper floors of several surrounding Georgian buildings on Trinity Street, Green Street and Sydney Street. Burrells Field is located on a site to the west of the main college buildings, opposite the Cambridge University Library. There are also college rooms above shops in Bridge Street and Jesus Lane, behind Fuels Court, and graduate accommodation in Portugal Street and other roads around Cambridge. Chapel. Trinity College Chapel dates from the mid-16th century and is Grade I listed. There are a number of memorials to former Fellows of Trinity within the chapel, including statues, brasses, and 2 memorials to graduates and Fellows who died during the World Wars. The chapel is a performance space for college choir which comprises around 30 choral scholars and 2 organ scholars, all of whom are ordinarily undergraduate members of the college grounds. The Fellows Garden is located on the west side of Queen's Road, opposite the drive that leads to the backs. The Fellows Bowling Green is located behind the Masters Lodge. It is the site for many of the tutors' garden parties in the summer months. While the Masters Garden is located behind the Masters Lodge, the Old Fields are located on the western side of Grange Road, next to Burrells Field. It currently houses the college's gym, changing rooms, squash courts, badminton courts, rugby, hockey and football pitches, along with tennis and netball courts. Gallery. Great Gate, Clock Tower, New Court. The River Cam as it flows past the back of Trinity. Trinity Bridge is visible, and the punt house is to the right of the moored punts. The avenue of lime and cherry trees, and wrought iron gate to Queen's Road viewed from the backs. Main entrance to Burrells Field. Fellows Bowling Green, with the oldest building in the college in the background. Blue Ball Court, with the Wolfson Building in the background. Academic profile. Since 1997, the college has always come at least 8th in the Tompkins table. Its average position has been 3rd. On this benchmark, it has been behind Emmanuel and above Christ's. In 2011, 37% of Trinity undergraduates achieved firsts, a recent record among Cambridge colleges. The college improved on this in 2012, when 37.9% of its undergraduates were awarded firsts. In 2013, the college topped the table for the 3rd successive year. Its undergraduates achieved a new record with the highest proportion of first-degree passes ever achieved at 41.7%, 8 percentage points ahead of second-placed Pembroke. Admissions currently, about 50% of Trinity's undergraduates attended independent schools. In 2006 it accepted a smaller proportion of students from state schools than any other Cambridge college, and on a rolling 3-year average it has admitted a smaller proportion of state school pupils than any other college at either Cambridge or Oxford. According to the Good Schools Guide, about 7% of British school-age students attend private schools. Although this figure refers to students in all school years, a higher proportion attend private schools in their final 2 years before university. Trinity states that it disregards what type of school its applicants attend, and accepts students solely on the basis of their academic prospects. Trinity admitted its first woman graduate student in 1976 and its first woman undergraduate in 1978, and appointed its first female fellow in 1977. Scholarships and prizes. The scholars, together with the master and fellows, make up the foundation of the college. In order of seniority, research scholars receive funding for graduate studies. Typically one must graduate in the top 10% of one's class and continue for graduate study at Trinity. They are given first preference in the assignment of college rooms and number approximately 25. The senior scholars consist of those who attain a degree with first-class honors or higher in any year after the first of an undergraduate tripos, but also those who obtain a high first-class marks in their first year. The college pays them a stipend of £250 a year and allows them to choose rooms directly following the research scholars. There are around 40 senior scholars at any one time. The junior scholars are those who are not senior scholars but still obtained a first in their first year. Their stipend is £175 a year. They are given preference in the room ballot over second years who are not scholars. These scholarships are tenable for the academic year following that in which the result was achieved. If a scholarship is awarded but the student does not continue at Trinity, then only a quarter of the stipend is given. However, all students who achieve a first are awarded an additional £240 prize upon announcement of the results. All final year undergraduates who achieve first-class honors in their final exams are offered full financial support to read for a master's degree at Cambridge. Other support is available for PhD degrees. The college also offers a number of other bursaries and studentships open to external applicants. The right to walk on the grass in the college courts is exclusive to fellows of the college and their guests. Scholars do, however, have the right to walk on the scholars' lawn, but only in full academic dress.